I wish you guys the best with your Yum Yum podcast.
Hello, Rachel.
Hi, Ryan.
How are you doing?
I've been better.
Been better? But
Yeah.
But you've been worse, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay then. You're somewhere in the in-between.
Nah, I'm closer to the bottom than the top.
But that means you can climb your way back up. Are you going to ask how I'm doing?
How are you, Ryan?
Sad. I'm very sad. The pain of it all, Rachel. This is a part of the experience of going through and watching episodes of television. Sometimes you get to an episode that just hits you in the gut, and rips your heart out and throws it on the ground. And today we're here to talk about an episode of that variety here on Yum Yum Podcast. The only podcast to bravely remind every single person in the universe that Star Trek Discovery had a line of dialogue that was so absurd, so over the top, so out of pocket and out of place that how could they get away with it? They shouldn't be able to get away with it. So we named our podcast after that line, and the line, of course, is
Yum.
No, it's not just yum. Commander Nandi, Lieutenant Commander Nandi, I actually think I've downgraded her. I think she was just Commander Nandi. She did not just say yum. She said yum, yum in reply to a question. Just an average question.
No!
Yeah, just an average normal question. Do you want to commit some torture? Do you want to hurt a bad guy? An average question. We all ask this of each other. Rachel, do you want to make Leland scream?
Make some AI sausage.
And what we do here is we talk about episodes of science fiction television, and we have something very important today. We're going through Killjoys, the TV series Killjoys, and we're nearing the end of its second season. We're here today to talk about the penultimate episode, Johnny Be Good. And as we've already indicated, it's quite the roller coaster ride of an episode. Rachel, how about you regale us all with your summary of Season 2, Episode 9, Johnny Be Good?
Rule 1. Always count on micro leeches. 2. If you aren't up for or ready for a blaze of glory, it is not cancelled, it is rescheduled. Rule 3. If a wall comes down, there is a price to pay.
Very good. I remember the episode. Crystal clear. It's in my mind. And something that's in the forefront of my mind is the tone of this show, Killjoys. If you have not had the chance to give Killjoys a revisit or a watch for yourself, it is such a wacky series. It has a lot of quips, a lot of zany humor, but it's mixed with a lot of heart, a lot of drama, a lot of heft. And this episode is no different. There's so many moments here that are very funny, but the episode is extremely dark as well. And so we like to highlight the yum yum laugh, because the yum yum line from Star Trek Discovery, it was supposed to be funny. It was supposed to make you laugh. It was supposed to catch you off guard, and it sure did succeed in one of those things I just said. But Rachel, what in this episode of Killjoys gave you a smile, gave you a laugh, made you chuckle?
Gun on stun, tunes for fun was a line from Davin that I particularly enjoyed when he's going out to give support to Dutch. And that's what he says as he sets off on his little adventure, which leads into the little Dune-like montage.
If I have to pick a line, I will pick a line, but my yum yum laugh is actually just a physical moment from one of the performers. But the line I really liked is when Dutch is being interrogated / tortured, and she's given the final chance to tell this person where Joko's, and she says very, very whispered breath, very Michael Burnham type delivery, but it's funny. Up your ass. And and then throws up blood. But my yum yum laugh is Jelko having to try and hide the code he's putting in, even though there's no reason at this point. There's nothing to be gained by doing that.
But he's still a dick.
And that actor really got to lean into little physical things like that, like his facial reactions to having a gun pointed at him, whether it be from Davin or Dutch. Who it was a different reaction. Like with Davin, it was genuine disgust, but with Dutch, he was turned on.
Jelko's reaction to Davin being like, she deals in more than money. She'll accept other things for a trade. And he's like, oh, God. While they're trying to get the weapon to take out Spring Hill, he then types in the code for. Davin's like, Joker's going to pay for it. Joker's like, no, I'm not.
That's my nest egg. He almost agrees to it. And then he's like, wait, no, I'm not. And they meet up with those, as they love to call them in this show, the rapey hill folk.
Mm-hmm.
Again, drop that line in there. They just love to define these bandits by that, and I just don't know what to make of that. But something that I do know is
how many bitches were in this episode. You keep track of the bitches.
Yes. Every episode except for one in this show has had the word bitch be dropped, and this episode went out of its way. 4 bitches were dropped. My personal favorite is Dutch being a sentimental bitch. That was my personal favorite. But Rachel, you noticed a small trend. Some may say a fluke of the show.
Oh yeah, it was a nut shot, but this episode didn't need one.
It didn't need anyone getting kicked in the balls.
It didn't.
Not
need
even
one,
Jelko.
He always deserves, but he would like it too much.
He would love it. He wants to be stepped on.
Yeah, he does.
What about Fancy Lee at the end? They could have kicked him in the balls and then he wouldn't have reacted. That would have shown you further that he's still like an inhuman freak.
Yeah, nah, we know that he's...
he would like it too.
Yeah, we know his type of freak.
No, he'd actually kick you back. That's what he would do.
It's like it would hurt your foot or your knee.
Oh, yeah. You would go ow from kicking him in the balls. And this is before he was a 6, because he probably has like a gadget in there or something.
But we haven't had a nut shot since episode 2
of this season.
And we're all the way at episode 9.
I want to blame the director and the writer of this episode. We love to talk about the people behind the scenes of given episodes, and we've come back around to the mainstays, or what will be mainstays.
Yeah, they already feel like a steady hand.
And who do we have in the writer's seat for this one?
We are under the guardianship of Adam Barkin.
So we have Adam back, but we also have a director back. This will be the director who does the most episodes of the show. And this is his second time round, I'm pretty sure. Second or third time round. We have Stefan, not great with Polish last names, which is ironic because I am a man with a Polish last name. So there you go. But he is back here in the director's seat. And Rachel, anything that leapt out to you in terms of this? Because we both know that this is the person who will be the one that has the most voice in terms of direction for Killjoys going forward.
Honestly, there are a few things that stand out, but this episode is so busy with so many other things. I didn't stop and appreciate the direction a whole lot. But the first-person shooter sequence definitely stands out. The montages, or like mini montages that we have, and the music choices of that, as well as the framing and the camera movement in a lot of those. Like, I'm particularly thinking of when we jump to inside the royal at the bar and seeing all of the chaos that is there. It has a very solid and clear voice.
Gun on stun, tools for fun.
Something that I did not appreciate until being able to watch it again was just all of the small choices, whether it is from the actors making certain facial reactions or little gags, or some of the small, more subtle choices in the writing, the foreshadowing of certain events that will come to play, the payoffs to certain things that have been ongoing in the story. But the direction, one of the things that I really like, that's just a thing that you could easily overlook, is the blocking of scenes. The way that actors are blocked in scenes was quite nice, because we also have Dutch. She's basically strapped to a chair for most of this episode with a guy in her face interrogating her, but the blocking of it always made it visually interesting. And then when Johnny is thrown into that situation, it's blocked in a different way. It's much more intimate, much more close, much more friendly. But there's also a lot of hologram conversations in this episode, and they had some fun thinking of blocking those in ways where it's like you take into consideration this is a hologram, so have the actor stand inside of the table, like all of that, real fun.
It feels hard to talk about my thoughts overall about this episode, because it is one of those ones where it's like, it's the episode wet. Like, everything is tethered to that thing. That end of the episode big bang, which is Porter's death. And it feels hard to not start there and unravel backwards.
Mm-hmm.
I was gripped by this episode, even though I could see the writing on the wall. I wanted to be wrong. I wanted to be wrong so badly. And then it's like, oh no, they're happy. And
they can't be happy. That's not how shows work.
No, and we're not at the end of the episode. That's not how this show works. It's more brutal than that. And I'm still very much reeling from it. Like, it was my turn to write the breakdown notes. And I really struggled with it, because every time I thought about the episode, it just brought me into that emotional space, not a logical space.
Why I think the cold open works, and then having us flashback and the rest of the episode or half the episode loops back around to it, is because, like the viewer, we are thinking about that final act or that final half of the show when we're done with it. And the episode is constructed for that itself. Like, it knows that if it just told that story in the linear fashion, it would still be sufficient, but it wouldn't have, I guess, that kind of like a meta quality of
emphasis.
Yeah, that emphasis, but also, like that spotlight focus of like, this part of the story is the most fascinating part of like everything is fraying, everything is crumbling. What a semblance of order can our heroes bring to this? And what they try to do ends up failing.
And it's a struggle to see them fail, because every other time, though, often with support directly or indirectly from Klein, they manage to scrape by. But it's also like, well, that's when it was the three of them.
Mm-hmm. They have a community of people now.
Yeah. And now it's expanded out. There's more risks. But they also need that support in order to succeed. Like, they need Alvis.
They need Pre. They needed Potter. They needed all of these people, even Turin. And it's not just because they have resources, but it's their community of people. And this episode is about freeing Old Town. And we've talked about this many times over, but none of the characters are from Old Town. None of them. Pre's not from there. Johnny, Potter, Davin, Dutch, Turin, none of them are from here, really. Like, they just all happen to coalesce here from time to time. But
Porter says it, but it's true for all of them, like all of our main cast, that they are not Westerland born, but they're Westerland made.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Porter specifically says that, like, she's Creshy, but, like, that sentiment of being Westerland made applies to all of these characters, and it's a part of what brings them together.
This writer in particular, I think he is the one that we've had clearly demonstrate that he is more advantageous and willing to push what a Killjoys story can look like. He we've seen him rely on like classic genre tropes, but he's always been willing to do a twist on it, or have a certain voice on it, or bring the Killjoys flair to it. But just terms of
be playful,
yeah, be playful,
which feels like that is an important anchor to the show.
I know there are the occasions where you are pulled out of a story, or you don't get as engaged with it because you can see where it's going, or that the writing is on the wall. But this is an episode where we said it. You can see where it's going, can see the writing on the wall.
The tracks are being laid.
But it's still gripping and true, and still makes you say, I don't want this to be the case, because it's honest.
Mm-hmm.
And what I really, really love is there's little misdirects because of the structure, but when we do find out the reveals of those, they feel not only true, but heartbreakingly brutal as well. We open this episode with a bunch...
The authenticity is there, and it's not cheapened in any way, though there are tricks of the trade that are used to try and obfuscate where it's going, but not in a way where it feels out of place or inauthentic at the end.
And there's lots of nice little things within this episode that they set up and pay off, or they counter, but also things on the macro scale of the season. We start this episode and there's a whole bunch of dead people in Old Town, and we see one of them is this, we hear the singing, we see this young person. I don't even know if you would call them an adult, a teen, they're very young. You hear the singing about this song about like a woman leading them astray, and you're like, oh, okay. But then when you actually get to the point of why these bodies are here, and you think about the context of what that song is all about, you're like, oh, that's nice. That's nice. You're really, sinking your teeth into these things. And there's just so many little moments like that in the episode, or characters emphasizing, I will not do this. I am incapable of doing that. Or do not trust this person.
I'm not that person.
Or do not trust this person for X, Y, Z.
Or this is what I'm willing to do.
And then we see those things either get followed through upon or completely go the opposite direction.
What am I supposed to do with this?
You point this part, you pull this part, and bang, bad guy falls down. It's set to lethal, so if I can't take the shot at Jelko, you're gonna have to.
I can't just shoot someone.
Really? You cut off your own sister's hand and strapped a bomb to Jelko's heart.
Yes, but I didn't set it off. There's a difference. I'm a doctor. Anything bad I've done was to save a life, not take one.
Sometimes you gotta do both.
And what I also commend too is the offhanded nature that they deal with big event stuff. So like going to Spring Hill, this has been something you know they're going to have to do at some point during the show. We have to raid Spring Hill. We have to stop Jelko. We have to take down the wall. But it's not as simple as that. They walk in and it's empty. Jelko and the others have fucked off somewhere. And so that's a nice little kink. It's not just pure shooty action. There's a little bit of intrigue. There's a little bit of mystery. There's some fun stuff in there because each one of them has to do certain things to help take down the system. Like Johnny being the tech guy, he has to hack into stuff, and it's not as easy. It's not as easy as just his usual thing, because for once we finally have met an AI that has a similar level of sentience and personality to Lucy, which makes sense, but it's been really the first time we've seen it.
Yeah, and that feels good because all of our characters in these different ways are hitting this tipping point of being out of their depth. The struggle is real. It's sink or swim, and they're not swimming yet. They're just barely keeping their head above the water. They're not fully gone yet, but the struggle is really there.
And with each one of the members, there's a different feel to that sensation. So, as saying, Johnny's having to deal with a funny thing, but it's still something that he didn't expect to be such a hassle, and he has to get Lucy to help him. And there's lots of barbs because this.
And in the end, he doesn't succeed fully. He's able to get the controls back in Jelko's office so that Porter can adjust to the levels, but he can't take down the power source.
Mm-hmm.
He can't get in that far. He can't break their system. He's just got this one little bit that they can work with.
Davin being the muscle, the shooter, he's just
and delighting in it.
That's it. He's the one that's in his element. He is totally fine in this operation. The thing that trips him up is having to deal with Jelko afterwards.
Seems like season 1 Davin would be annoyed to be limited to stun. But season 2 Davin is just like, okay, I'm just gonna I'm not killing anybody, so I can just have a good time.
There's a lot of growth with his character, and the music. He's just treating it as just a party.
It's a romp.
A way. Yeah, and did that work for you?
Yeah,
did it feel like it lined
did.
up with what we needed?
Yeah, it really helped the pacing of this episode, having those moments of Davin just being a buffoon. Like, with Johnny on his own or with Dutch, he is the lighter one out of the three of them. And it makes sense because, like, Dutch is being tortured.
And Johnny's gone through a bit of a phase. It's actually weird that Davin's the most chill right now. He's usually been the drama queen of the three. And he's being reunited with...
He had that when he had his episode with Sabine.
Yeah. And even then... he was still very grounded in that too, which was nice. But what I was going to mention is he's also reunited with Johnny, so he's back in that jovial
brotherly thing with the banter. He has a good line
about making jokes. You can't make them on your own. It's better when you have someone else. And look cool shooting.
It's just weird when he.
We have the conflict, though, between Potter and Dutch. They don't like each other
At
already.
the best of times.
And now they have the whole Johnny situation. And then on top of that, Potter being unwilling / unable to kill on this mission, which is what they're here to do. That's their job. Take down the wall and kill Jelko. It's not take down the wall or kill Jelko. It's both.
and then Dutch is willing to give up one, but not the other. And then she does kind of get it in the end. Like, Spring Hill's ashes by the end of the episode.
But Jelko's still out there.
And it doesn't feel like a win.
No, it does not. Well, it's because what did we lose along the way? With Potter and Dutch, this friction between them, the fact that Johnny is wavering between the two of them, now they lock horns, or at least they have a conversation more so, because again, like, Potter isn't trying to argue or fight against Dutch. He's just saying how it is. And I appreciate that they aren't, like, being catty or getting into, like, a jealousy thing going on between these two.
No.
Because even Davin mentioned...
They're not baked goods. That was a good line. Because Johnny is talking to Dutch about how he wishes he has both him and Porter, that he didn't have to choose. And, tries to use the analogy of having his cake and eating it too.
Having my Dutch and eating my Potter too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is such a sweet, dumb moment that feels very authentic to their relationship, but also the point of friction that they are having at the moment.
I like when we look at Dutch and Potter, the venom that Dutch has for her is the same level and played the same when it comes to her feelings about making Johnny lie and about Potter on the mission being the liability because she's not willing to pull the trigger. I like that it's played equally because Dutch just fundamentally is opposed to what Potter is.
Yeah. She doesn't approve of Porter, and it's an interesting relationship that they have, and the way that we understand both of them, and at times you agree with one and not the other, but then other times you are juggling agreeing with both. It's like, well, they are both kind of right. And especially with who they are as individuals, it makes sense for them to have that perspective. And having that context between those two characters really is important for having all of the layers when Porter reveals that Johnny wants to be more than a killjoy.
That's why I've been so scared to lose you. I just want you to be happy.
What makes me happy is to live in a world where I can have my Dutch and eat my Potter too. Shit. That got weirdly sexual.
No, it's just we're not baked goods.
I know that.
Something that I also just found very, very telling about Jelko is he hasn't even questioned the bigger picture. He just is doing his job.
No.
He just was going to do the next thing.
He's okay being a cog as long as it's beneficial to him.
He's a fascist fucker. He's just a little fascist worm who is only in it for the thrill of the job.
And Davin has no patience for him, and I love it.
When we were talking through season 1, we had Hills as the face of the company, and he was a disaffected, just I'm doing the job because I want to look after my family. He didn't believe in the company.
So long ago.
That feels so long ago because it was so long ago. So much has happened, but he is the face of the company and he doesn't believe in its rules.
No.
Then he gets killed by Jelko, who says, I am the ultimate embodiment of the company. I believe in everything it does. But quickly we learn he doesn't care about any of that. He just wants to get his thrills.
Mm-hmm.
He just wants to be someone who has a position of power that allows him to be a sadomasochist. That's all it is. That's all he needs. And when he has to deal with Dutch, he politics her. But imagine if Potter was there. The whole thing with him is he was unable to out-politics Potter throughout this entire season.
I think it's time to talk about what Porter does. I think it's time to talk about how the wall comes down.
We learn more about the wall, of course, that they have the wall there. It controls people.
Pacifies.
It's a pacifier, so that way they can cull the herd and make it easier to weed out the weak, so that way they can inject people with green plasma.
Yeah, but it's not capable of only pacifying.
It has a variety of mood settings it can put you in. They just casually say that early on. And you're
Lucy
like,
gets to say it.
Yeah, Lucy gets to say it in a funny exchange. There's a whole bit where it's like, Lucy, put on your thinking pants. And she's like,
Analysis pants.
Analysis pants. And she's like, I don't wear
believe.
pants. I'm a
A
spaceship.
And Johnny's like, oh God, I'm too hungover for this shit. It's hard watching Johnny distance himself from Porter before he finds out the full context of why she did what she did. Because he's the one that tells them we either need to overload the system or remove the power source.
He's also the one that's going to bat for Potter and her,
He establishes we can't destroy the power source. He tries a bunch of things. It doesn't work. They're stuck. And then she realizes what she can do. And you watch her heart break as she realizes this is the choice that does she get to make or does she not get to make?
It has to be done, as Dulcea says.
Mm-hmm. And we hear Porter repeat her father's words of... And it's sad to see how much it hurts her to think of her parents in this episode. Because we have that moment of her remembering her father and the lessons that he taught her, and then getting angry at Dulcea for mentioning her mother.
She had to act like her mother. She had to do a ruthless thing. And Potter's ruthless act was to turn on that wall, make the people enter rage mode, and throw themselves at the wall, killing over 100 people to overload the system and make the wall shut down. Fucking devastating, cruel, evil, but it's also beneficial, humane. It's
because it's
the greater good.
If they can stop the company using the walls on Westerly, who knows how many lives it will save.
What did you think of that conversation with Dulcea? The thing that pushed Potter to do what she had to do. These two have a shared history. We know this, and it really comes out in this. And Dulcea is such a monster in Potter's eyes. She even balks and says, "What happened to you?" And she says, I grew up. I have to do the things that have to be done.
Mm-hmm. And that or that's a part of what pushes Porter to do this, because it's just like, okay, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. But you know that she truly means everything that she's saying to them as she sends them to their deaths.
Yes, but some of it is an act too. Like but it all helps itself out too later when she acknowledges, like, I'm going to pay for what I have done. I'm not like they'll say, I won't shy away.
Politicking. I don't like this. This doesn't make me happy. It is destroying me and my soul.
I thought that the statement from Delsea about how individuals are clever but the masses are dumb.
I loved that so much. Like, that's a line that is going to stick with me. Even when I don't remember the line specifically, it's a concept that's just always going to be bubbling away in my brain.
Well, it gives you a clear insight into her character and what she thinks and how she moves around the world.
And how this world works too, because that is the truth of what we've seen, is that individuals have been smart, but organizations and towns and worlds
But she's above it because she's a clever individual who I'm sure is not being manipulated and played for other people's games.
No,
she's above it.
But
she's got a role. You
yeah,
see, that's why she's above it, because she's got a duty.
She's a smart individual who's working within a plan that started before she was born, but she's in charge,
and she doesn't know what the plan is. That's the other thing, too. She doesn't fully understand it either, as we have been given a clear picture of. But she's been promised something that everyone wants, which is to live forever.
Immortality.
The nebulous concept, yeah.
How could you? Your own people. You're not my people. What did she offer you?
Only what we all want, Heron. To live forever.
What I really want to highlight and commend as well is that the series as a whole has given us just enough information as well as that sense of the incoming dread and doom of these nebulous forces on the sidelines. So that way, when Potter has to make this choice, it feels like it's the only option she has available, because they're going to turn this whole place into a town of level 6s. And that, to us,
soldiers for what war? We don't know yet. But you do.
But that's the thing. We don't know yet, but we do know enough that it's horrifying to the point in which her having to do what she does seems justifiable to us, the viewer.
Yeah, we're on her side, which feels so horrifying to say out loud, but it is
you understand. You understand her choice and mindset.
You wish that there was another way, but you also see that it is the way forward.
And thankfully, her character and the show recognizes the duality of it. Of she made a hard choice. It was the right choice, but it was also the wrong choice.
It was the best choice that she had, but it was still wrong. That's where I come down on it.
It's the choice of pragmatically you're doing the right thing, but morally it's still the wrong thing.
It really was heartbreaking seeing her die because of having to watch Johnny see it. And his refusal to see what's happened. And it's just like, well, Turin survived basically the same wound.
Yeah.
So maybe there's hope. And I'm like, no, that felt very final. Unless they turn her into a 6.
There's something more devastating. There's something more upsetting about the quickness of it.
Mm-hmm. It's truly brutal.
It's not an instant death, but it's not a prolonged one either. It's basically within the span of a minute, she's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And Johnny has to just see it all, and he's helpless, and there's nothing he can do.
He's asking for her help.
He's asking her to guide him how to do it. Hey, you saved me.
Tell me how to fix you.
I've been stabbed, and you saved me, so let me save you. That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
And it's not. Dulcea does this bullshit thing where she comes in. She physically comes there because of all of this, and she says, okay, let's sign a deal here. You, me, this Harren guy, these Scarback monks are also here. Let's not worry about them. And we'll sign a deal here. We'll do the old traditions where we do a blood pact type deal. We cut our hands and put the blood on the paper there. And I absolutely, I mean, the acting from Dulcea is so great. Not just the actress playing her, but her acting, the character is acting. And you can tell she's acting because she gives Potter an out. She says, "Are you sure?" before Potter signs it. Yeah, and she has this look in her eye of like, choose not to do this. And Potter chooses to sign it, and she signed her own death warrant, basically. Potter's death, we have talked about it being devastating, heartbreaking, all of that. Was it a cheap death?
No.
Was it unearned?
No.
Was it shock value?
A little. Like,
is that a bad thing?
No.
I just wanted to ask you this.
Because, it is there to shock you.
We've waited 2 seasons to pull something like this. That's what it is, too.
It's built up to, it's earned. But there is still a shock value there, yeah.
I ask this because, I loved this character. It, absolutely gutted me. There's a few characters in recent years in TV where their death, whether it be, obvious it was going to happen or a sudden shock, actually takes me aback a bit. This was one of them. But I had a fun little thing, Rachel, before we did our recording today. I read the comments online all those years ago when this episode came out. And boy, oh boy, with the fan base not happy with this. Everyone was calling it cheap or unearned. And one show kept popping up in the discussion for why this exists. And it was Game of Thrones. Oh, here we go. We're Game of Thrones in it. You wanted a nice thing and we took it away. Oh, we subverted your expectations. You can't have Johnny be happy. You have to choose an option in which our characters are more miserable. And it was so interesting to see comments from about 10 years ago bemoaning this idea. Just going over the sentiment of, why do we have to have such miserable, grim, dark TV? And it's like, oh, you sweet summer child. Little did you know how it was going to keep going like this. Has it stopped, in your opinion?
No. It's shifted, but it hasn't gone away. I think that mean streak is still there.
Now, let's talk about Fancy Lee. Our boy, he came back.
Yeah, he's back. He let Jelko go. He's still working with Klein,
who they have to go meet.
We are led to believe. And Dutch looks at Fancy like, you motherfucker.
They're still reeling from everything that's just happened. Dulce is winning again as the villain. She's winning. She's made this phony fucking peace treaty deal that is just going to keep oppressing Old Town and Westerly. She's winning, trying to paint Potter as like this little martyr figure that they had on their side. Just all of this devious shit. Jelko getting away off screen is very funny. I think that's just so fitting for him. He's just a little weasel man. Who knows where he's run off to now? What sick shit he's gonna get in there. But one of the things I just wanted to ask you. We're talking about villains winning. The big plan to make the whole moon level 6s. Like, that's the big threat at the end of the day here. Like, that's the big, we have to stop that from happening type deal. How do you feel about that being the reveal of what this wall situation has been throughout the whole show? Because it has been building up like there's this mystique behind the wall, and how does this tie into everything else? And this is the answer. It directly intersects with the other big overarching plot, which is the level 6s.
It's not a surprise that they're linked, and it makes a lot of sense that they want/need more soldiers, because that's more and more what the 6s are feeling like. They're the soldiers. They're part of the weaponry that are being built up and prepared for what's coming for the Quad.
I know something, the green plasma. Do you have any idea how important it is?
I thought you were just a cog.
Well, I am, but knowledge is what keeps a cog like me alive. Would you like to know where the rest of it is?
There's more. Where?
Wesley is just the beginning. There's more than you could possibly imagine.
It's a yum yum.
Yum yum.
On our rating system of yum being bad and yum yum being good, this gets a yum yum.
Yum yum.
It needs to be said on the podcast, Rachel. We said it during our reaction. I noticed who it was, but the actor of Heron, Canadian character actor, man, I was looking at him and I was thinking, I know you. What do I know you from? It must be something we've watched for the podcast, either Star Trek Discovery or The Expanse. It's The Expanse.
Mm-hmm.
He is the guy in the last season of The Expanse, Walker, he's the belter pirate guy who teams up with Drummer, and he has that amazing exchange about how Marco is intimidated by him sexually. I knew it was that actor, not because of his face, it was that voice. He has such a unique voice. In The Expanse, he does a little belter accent, but even when you hear what is, I guess, more regular voices in this, I don't know what kind of Canadian accent he has or like brogue he has going on, but it is very striking. And I found him just to be a great presence, but I have to reference the fact also, we didn't say it, but Pre was in the episode.
Yes. I alluded to him in my summary, though.
Pre was a hero. Grabbed out the shotgun from the bar, as you must always. You grab out your big rifle, your big shotgun. Well, I hope Pre will be okay. But, Rachel, the next episode is the season 2 finale. Do you have anything in mind? Do you have any dreams and hopes and desires before I tell you the title?
Oh, I do wonder if it's going to come back that Johnny and Porter got married before she died.
How official that is, yes.
Yes. But I think that would open up avenues. So I think it's going to go somewhere. I think we're going to get our next piece of the jigsaw puzzle in terms of the stuff going on in the Quad, in the J. Like, I think we're going to nudge a little bit more into that realm.
Do you think Klein's actually going to show up and give us answers?
Oh, no. Well, like, not many answers. Answers that give more questions.
What do you think some of those answers are in your mind? What are your theories?
I think there's going to be more information about who the one that looks like Dutch is. Why am I forgetting her name? Anila. A little bit more about Anila. Or she's going to at least confront him about, like, so I look like your fucking daughter?
Do you have any further takes on what that is all about?
No, right now. I am just enjoying it unfolding right now. I want to see what the next little bit I get is, and I'll enjoy it, and then be annoyed at what a small morsel it is, because I know there's more.
Another compliment to this episode, and this will be relevant to the title of the next. Appropriate use of all the characters involved. There was no
Balanced.
Superfluous use of people because they're in the show. There was no just random inclusions. You could say Pre is the most direct version of that, but even then,
but also it made sense.
It made more sense.
You either needed to see him to get rid of him, or have a line to explain
better
it
just
away.
to have him.
And it's
always better to have Pre. It's never a loss to have
always
Pre.
better. What is the name of the episode, Ryan?
So
I
as
want
I
to
mentioned,
know.
Appropriate use of all of our cast of characters. The next episode is called How to Kill Friends and Influence People. Season 2, episode 10, How to Kill Friends and Influence People. We will be back to discuss that. If you people out there are enjoying the show, please make sure to rate and review us. Yum Yum Podcast. We are available on all of the podcasting sites, as well as where else, Rachel?
I know this one. Social media?
Yeah, that's right.
We are also on social media under Yum Yum Podcast or Yum Yum Pod. If you want to email us, direct that to yumyumpod@gmail.com. But our favorite little place to interact with you yumlings, it is selfishly the Discord that's behind the paywall of our Patreon.
Oh, there's so much more behind the Patreon than just a community
Oh,
Discord.
yeah, but that's my favorite place to interact with
It
people.
is. It is. It's a fun
more
place.
manageable for my little introverted
hands,
heart.
Your little paws to tap on your phone. We have our Patreon, in which we have a whole slew of bonus material, as well as our reactions to Killjoys in full unedited glory, as well as our episodes early. So if you want to get this earlier or see our full reactions, as well as hear our thoughts on so many other pieces of media, whether they be movies or shows or board games or who knows, we have so much over there. Yum Yum Podcast on Patreon. It would be greatly appreciated if you have the means to support the podcast. But the actress of Potter, do you know her from anything else?
I feel like there is something, but I don't remember right now.
You said early on you recognized her from something, but you couldn't remember. And I said, well, don't look it up because you're gonna spoil yourself on things.
Mm-hmm.
So Sarah Power left this show not only because I think it was just the natural flow of her character, but she left this show to become a lead on another show.
Mm-hmm.
A show you watched.
Mm-hmm.
So she went on from Killjoys, where she was a secondary character, to a leading character in a Canadian show. She played Abigail Perishing in Good Witch.
Oh my fucking god!
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've been waiting to mention this to you because you said, "Oh, I know her from something," and I'm like, "Yeah, but don't look that up because I think she left this show to be in that show." The timeline of that is that show starts in late 2015. She's out of here in 2016. But I just wanted to get your reaction recorded for that revelation of like, is her character good in that? What's she like in that? Because I only know her from this really, where she's like manic and crazy.
She's good. Like that show isn't the best.
I mean, yeah, it has Mike Delfino from Desperate Housewives, so of course it's messy.
Yeah, but I remember Abigail being a lot of fun. She's very playful.
Does the performer bring a lot of the Potter energy into that, or is she different enough?
She's different enough. But I remember her having a lot of energy similar to when, like, Porter's high from the wall.
Oh.
Kind of that little bit of manic
Does she get to
cheekiness.
Now, does she get to fuck in that show? Or is it not a horny show?
It's not, like, it's more about the romance. It's a bit more chaste.
Who's she linked up with? It's not Mike Delfino, is it?
No.
Oh, thank Christ. I don't want her to be linked up with Mike Delfino from Desperate Housewives. That's enough now. We have to head off. We have to mourn the loss of our favorite sexy doctor. Rachel, so far on our podcast, we've covered a numerous amount of shows. We haven't actually had too many, great doctor characters, have we? It's been Dr. Franklin and Potter. That's been about it, right?
Yeah, you've been bemoaning the lack of doctors a lot over our podcast journey.
I'm not joking when I say this. Is Dr. Potter one of the last great sci-fi show doctor characters?
I don't like that we've engaged with, yeah. Like of sci-fi that we've watched.
Because usually nowadays it's like engineers and scientists, like medical doctor.
Everybody is a
characters.
fucking engineer.
I'm really struggling. I'm really properly struggling to think of great doctor. Like The Expanse had
nothing
none.
in the Orville.
She was fine. Yeah, she was okay. She was good. But like even The Expanse, they didn't have a doctor character. Like Shed was the closest that we really had to one. Or Anna was like a doctor too, but she was a scientist as well. So yeah, it's just interesting. Like we've talked about this a lot, but science fiction is really kind of TV is strayed away from your sawbones, just doctor type characters. And here's Potter. She's gone now, but also it's kind of the end of an era for this archetype within this genre for the time being. Maybe there are more out there, people. Let us know. Who are some of your favorite sci-fi doctors from recent years?
Bye.